Hello, this is Amy, the hybrid administrator for Rudolf, the tall white alien. We are pleased to share with you these extremely powerful amulets coming from our tall white race tracing back many thousands of years. You will be protected from a myriad of things including disease, harm, and bad luck. Inquire to possess one for your own benefit.
Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall, white alien. Magic. The simplest way to explain magic I will give you today. There are two ways of looking at this world you're living in. Either that you are the observer of an outside world of particles and matter, people and moving objects, and you are just tossed around in this reality, trying to make the best out of that situation you have been in involuntarily. That's one way to look at it. You fight your way through life. Some of you better, and the other ones who are not as fortunate or as witty, they have to live with the crumbs which life is offering them. That's one way of looking at life, and that's the way 99% of the people do. The successful ones as well as the others. And then there is another way of looking at life, and that's the way of the magical man, the magus. He knows that the world is made up of his own mind, and he is the mover and shaker of everything, which is the content of his life. If a person, an ordinary person, really after a while of living and studying spirituality, comes to the point of turning into a magus, in that moment he knows or she knows that what has been perceived as an outside world is nothing but the reflection of her or his own mind. And that makes you to the sole person who is directing the affairs of your life. And then you may say, hey, wait a minute. The world is not moving according to my wishes and will. The world is moving around us, and there are wars, and there are rich and poor, and there is death, and there is disease, and all of that, and happiness, and I have no influence on it. And there you make the biggest mistake of your life. Because everything that happens to you has in its seed. And the seed, the first thought of your mind. The place you are at in this particular moment depends on your mind. You could be sitting, laying, standing, walking somewhere else. And whatever happens to you at any given place depends on the decision you have made before. You do not have to be there where you are right now listening and watching this video. You could be somewhere else doing something else. And that is what I mean by having magical power. Magical power is to understand that your life is in your own hand, and whatever you do, the outcome will be accordingly to cause and effect. Let's say you would say, oh, I'm in a wheelchair because I had a motorcycle accident. I was riding a motorcycle, completely clear in my head, very safe, oriented on the street. But then a car came from the side and just smashed into it, and since this time I'm wheelchair bound. This is not my decision, and I am not the one who created this destiny for me. Wrong. You did. You are the only one who did create this destiny for you. Because you decided at one point in your life to buy a motorcycle and ride this thing, knowing that the chance of having an accident on a motorcycle is much higher than walking on foot, driving a car, or taking the subway. By knowing that you endanger your life by riding a bike, you created this situation to sit in a wheelchair. See, everything depends on your own mind. If you go deep enough into it and far enough back, you will always see that the seed of everything around you, all the actions, all the outcomes, and the places you are in and see depend solely on your own decision making. So a magician is somebody who is aware that the world is made up, whatever he sees at any given moment, of the decisions he made before. And if you are witty enough, bright enough to make the right decisions, or at least try to avoid terrible outcomes, then you are applying good magic towards your life, which is a creation of your own mind. And if you believe there's an outside world which you try to wiggle around in, but you don't have much of an influence, then you are not a person who applies personal magic to this world of yours. See, this has to be understood, and I have made videos before explaining what poverty is. If you believe you were born into a poor family or under very, very dreadful circumstances and have to linger in a situation like that, or in a neighborhood which is not favorable to your development as a human, and your role models are drug dealers on the corner, then if you think that way and you have no personal influence on your life, then you are doomed to follow a negative thought pattern. And you could switch that into a positive one. And that you have to know. Everything depends on your conscious or subconscious thinking. Because the world is nothing but mind, and it's nothing but your own mind. Once you know that, you become empowered. Empowered by simply switching from one thought pattern to another. From the idea you are delivered to an outside world, to the idea that you are the master of your mind and the captain of your mental ship, which can be directed into a positive direction. For sure, not everything you do, not every decision you make will turn out to be perfect or will turn out to be favorable to you. But at least you know that you have the power in your hand, and whenever there is a negative outcome, then you know it is based on a negative first thought in your head, and you have to correct it at any given moment to create a better outcome in the future. Rudolf of Germany.